Welcome to another exciting episode with the Kingdoms Insider. I am Craig McCarroll. I am here to just tell you a little bit about myself real quick. We are doing this podcast because we have these meetings scheduled every week with the modern day family and the modern day Brady Bunch that we have. We had to take some time and schedule that time for meetings to discuss things with the children, the courts, and whatever other fun stuff we can talk about, budgets and everything like that, to help us keep our life together, keep our relationship happy, and continue to keep our relationship alive and do the right things for our children at the same time. We've also got 2 dogs, so with the and with that, for me, that's the reason we're doing this. I also am the founder of Guns and Fitness, which is a fitness program that is based off of fitness, nutrition, and mindset. So I've taken my military training and just transferred it over to a Guns and Fitness platform. It's online coaching, so come check me out. Andrea, why do you want to be doing this Kingdoms Insider podcast?
I feel like you're so far away. So we have the awesome day blended family, and so with that comes all the challenges of raising other people's kids, and it's one of the most difficult things I think anybody should ever have to do. And so we've been getting so much, we have such an amazing support team, and I think we have such a great group of friends and surroundings that have constantly encouraged us to do everything that we want to do. And so we've had, our situation the past 2 years has been a complete shit show, and everyone's just like, your guys' life is like a movie. You guys have so much to offer, and there's so many times...
Horror movie. At times.
Yeah, it's like definitely a horror movie. It's like a horror movie mixed with like Lifetime TV.
Where it's reality TV gone bad in a way.
Yeah, where you're just like, I can't believe that's happening, or I can't believe that person's going to do that. There's no way that she's going to do that, or she's going to come out, or whatever, and it's just constantly in the news. We'll get into that on a different podcast, but for the most part, we had so many people tell us that. It's like, you guys got to do something. You guys have gone through some of the most crazy things, and you guys have felt so alone at times, and kind of got stuck in that story of, why is this happening to us? And we just realized that shit wasn't serving us anymore. And so we decided to start telling the truth about what it's really, really like to raise other people's kids, be married to, when you get to... I don't know if we really... I know that you're a producer, but I don't know if I'm really considered a producer right now. But I think that when you get
producer financially, or
anything, I don't know. So yeah. I think when you get 2 people like us together that are so incredibly independent, and we're both so headstrong, and we... have the entrepreneur streak in us. When you get those 2 type of people under one roof alone is extremely challenging, and somehow we've been able to make it work and keep our marriage alive through life constantly throwing us curveballs. So I think that we're just here. We don't claim to be experts. I never feel like I'm an expert. I always like to think of myself as a student at everything in life, and I've spent the past couple of years being a student on my journey, going to seminars and webinars and all that fun stuff, just trying to figure out how to swallow up and submerge myself in complete, tools, and coming from people who I view as experts that have been where they are, where I want to be. So those are kind of the people that I look up to. So we're just here to basically tell the truth and not come to you guys as experts, but we'll have once a month bring someone in on an interview who we feel is an expert in some of the field, whether it has to do with kids, marriage, or business. And we will kind of leave that up to them. But for the most part, we're just here to basically share our story.
I think it's basically, we've brought the counseling and psychiatrist sessions online for the whole world to see.
Yeah.
And we get to divulge a lot of our information, but by doing that, we have a group of everybody around us that I think will come together, and you guys will be able to relate to some of our stories, and maybe some of them you'll relate to, maybe you won't, and then you guys might have some tips and secrets that have worked for you, and we may have some for you. So together we're all gonna take. I said a while back that it takes a village to raise a family. Well, we're creating that village with all of you guys.
Yeah, so kind of how Kingdoms Insider came to be is Craig and I have both lived our lives. Gosh, I feel so nozzly. we kind of both have lived our life by making our own rules. We were both raised in kind of the Mormon background. We both kind of steered away with that, just knowing that we're the type of people that need to make our own rules and kind of figure shit out, not basically the hard way, but we like to learn our own lessons and create our own destiny. So we kind of just like to think of, we have our very unique kingdom, and we, kind of just, not that I know what I'm doing right now with everything as far as my clothing line, Kingdoms clothing brand. It's a lifestyle brand, and I don't really feel like I know what I'm doing. I just know that I have to follow this.
You know what your end result is.
Yeah,
the end result is what. So we've spent the last year and a half, 2 years of really, for me, it was a transition to the civilian battle zone and being able to keep a marriage together and actually make a blended family work. And through this journey of improving ourselves, we've figured out that we will not settle for just anything in life. We have our dreams set on a goal, and we will not stop until we achieve those. And this is part of that dream, I think. And then that the Kingdoms Insider and Kingdom Clothing brand is all Andrea and her style, and everything's coming together with that. But there's going to be some other ideas that spin off from there. And my passion of guns and fitness, that's what I've said I've always been passionate about, and that's where I ended up with guns and fitness. So and it's kind of always been, ready, aim, fire, but now we're kind of just saying ready, fire, and then we'll figure out the aim as we go.
But you're always like that with everything. You're all in, from the way you date people to the way that you are in your family to the way that you are with your kids, your parenting style.
That's the recon Marine in me.
Yeah.
Recon, you're either 100% in or 100% out.
It's not just this guns and fitness thing. It's this whole, it's everything. It's everything that he does is like, fuck it. Let's do it. Do or die. I'm like, dude, I don't really think this applies right here, but okay.
Yes. So, violence of action. Let's get it done.
Yeah, so it's just like, some people are really, I think that I got really lost in with all of my coaching, and there's tons of coaches out there that say, no, you just got to find your why, Andre, and you just got to find your why. I'm like, I don't really know what my why is yet. So with this whole thing, I've just really taken the past couple weeks to just really find my love for myself and just really have my boundaries and create my space that I need. And if I feel like I need something, just really go with it and just follow that intuition. That's kind of really what the journey that I've been on lately is, just follow my intuition. Don't get so caught up on the passion and your why. Just, see where
overanalyze everything.
Yeah, and it was, is this my why? Is this my reason why? What if this isn't, what if I'm not passionate about this in 5 years and I spent all this money growing this and doing that? So it made me feel paralyzed. And so with this whole thing, I feel like I'm rambling, but I'm just kind of going with it and seeing where it goes and how it grows, and just kind of stay true to myself and my style and everything that I've always wanted to do. And that's kind of where it is. But today's topic is mostly about...
hold on. How do you feel? Are you on the right path?
I have never felt so I don't know, maybe it's just because you are who you hang out with, and I don't hang out with anybody but you. And so when
I'm sorry.
when you do that, I just became with this don't care about what anybody other thinks. Don't care about what your family thinks. Don't care about anything. Just create the life and live your best life. And so any single time I saw something or did something, and all my vision boards and everything that I've created, it became so, I don't even know what the word is or how to explain it, but it just became so intense for me, and it made me feel like I wasn't being true to myself with the go, go, go and all that kind of hustle. Just be who I am, tell your story. You have so much to offer, and that's another thing that's really, really hard for me that I know that I tell you all the time is like, no one gives a shit what I have to say, but there's so many people that are in our situation, and it's like, oh my gosh, if we could do this and I could help one or two more stepmoms that are dealing with our challenges of how the hell do you raise someone else's kids, or if I can, help somebody, just coming from the women's standpoint of if I could just help a woman that's, married to someone who is in and out of the military and has that intensity about them, and I can help them relate what it's like to have so many different husbands. You have your active, you have your deployed, you have your home, that you go through all of those things with your husband. Or if I could just relate to one person about what it's like to be married to someone who's almost kind of exactly like you when it comes to business and how to keep that passion alive and know when you could be masculine and know when you can't be, just to keep that dynamic and those energies going so you're not colliding all the time. It's like, fuck, it's good enough for me.
Definitely.
So I think today it's just mostly talking about how we're just kind of going with this, and so many people are like, well, what is it about? Well, what it's about? And we're just kind of going to see where this happens and just tell our story instead of just having our weekly meetings with ourselves on what's going on with our kids. This is what and just kind of being true and raw with that whole thing, and just be like, we allow us as a couple to do that. I think that's like our free time.
Yeah.
Every other time, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna write that down and talk about that in our meetings. That's not worth.
Well, because the bullshit started stacking up to where it was every single day with the court, and you'll hear all about our story of the last year and a half or more. But the bullshit started stacking up to where it was every single day, and then we ended up starting to kind of see our marriage kind of going in separate directions, and we needed to figure out a way to get it back on ground.
Just take control of it so it doesn't feel like it's controlling you. When everybody has shit that happens, everybody that has things that come on, unless you have 5 assistants to handle all of those categories for you, I feel like it's kind of up to you to, you would probably say take life by the balls, and I would probably say use a horse analogy, like
I like bull by the horns.
Keep the horse by the reins and just be like, no, we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about that in our meeting, okay? And then that's like my code word or my safe word, couples have with sex, it's like pineapple or whatever. With us, it became things with our kids. We had to have something to where we were like, nope, we're not going to get into that right now because it just consumes you.
Are we going to be talking about sex on the Kingdoms Insider podcast?
You're going to bring it up at some point, aren't you?
I think it's a natural thing to go with. Talk about sex and this real life. I think one thing that was funny today, I went and grabbed my son for lunch, and we went to lunch, and it's funny when you have those intimate conversations with your kids one-on-one, and then the questions they ask and the kind of the insight from a child's mind, it's really cool. And the thing he asked me today was like, what if you could live forever? And we got into this cool conversation of what would life be like if you could live forever. And the number one thing is that we kind of came to a conclusion was you would never feel rushed. You would be, I have time for everything. And for me, knowing that I'm on the right path, when I feel like I'm not being rushed and I've got to hurry, and I'm kind of being more present in the environment that I'm in, then I feel like I'm truly on that right path and I'm doing the things that I want to be doing. Because one of the things that really changed, or I always keep in the back of my mind, is that I don't want to be doing something that I don't want to do and then life be snatched away from you then. You know what I'm saying?
And not having any regrets.
Yeah, like I was driving to Duck Valley, and then I'm like, holy crap, what if something happened? All of a sudden I just fell off the road or got sideswiped by a semi, and then life is over, and I was dragging a trailer to a place I did not want to go. And then your life is done. So
yeah.
Like, all right, something's got to give here. Nothing wrong with the restoration company. I also run a restoration company, the home restoration company, but that's just part of it. It was like, I got to really think about what do I really want to do, but I kind of got sidetracked there. But anyways, so
no, the cool conversations that you have with your kids. I mean, that's one thing that I feel like we have really good balance in, even though our life is crazy and chaotic, and you have so many things going on with your ex, and we're constantly feeling like we have to be divided and then figure out ways to come together, and then divided and come back together. And I think that's the number one challenge with blended families that we deal with, is kids always feel like they want to control the situations. But one thing that Craig and I have always really done is we put ourselves first. So I think that one biggest thing that I was never thought I would even be married. I never thought that I would be in this relationship forever. And then
until she met me.
Yeah, and then I met Craig, and I was like, hey, well, this is going to be it for me, and there's never going to be an out, and I can't. This has to be the one and only, and I can't, ever, let the outcome, if I'm going to do this and go in. We'll get on to that when it comes to relationship and stuff like that. But I think that with kids, it was, I was so focused on my son and work and all that kind of stuff. I never had a priority for a relationship. But one thing that Craig and I, I'm talking like I'm talking to somebody, but really I just feel like I'm talking to you. You're right here. You can hear me.
Talking to the audience, though.
Good. But once I, kind of jumped in with this relationship with you, and we moved in together, we built this beautiful house, we did all this stuff, and started, figuring out the best way to blend the kids with you still deploying and all this kind of stuff. We kind of always had this mentality, like, even though we don't have our own kids, and even though, we had our children first, and, that's one thing that I think is hard for kids, going into a blended family is we're like, I was here first. Kids are always
Definitely.
like, that shit's mine first, or they bought me that first, or it's always first and mine and whatever.
Well, and I think there's power struggles all the time in any family. Even I was raised in a family that was no divorce, like none of that was ever heard of, and we still battled for a position. But I think with a blended family, it gets a little sticky, and we have conversations with the kids. I had one just yesterday with my son Levi, and we had to discuss, like, we're doing the best we can.
I was going somewhere with. So one thing that we're good at, though, is we always put each other first. Like, even though the kids are constantly trying to keep us apart, one thing that is, that I feel like we are really good at, because sometimes I'm like, holy shit, I feel like I suck at everything. I feel like I don't know how the hell to parent these kids. Like, these kids aren't mine, but I'm raising them, and I'm supposed to just teach them the lessons and teach, your daughter on how to be a lady and how to be, the type of person that someone looks up to, how to play hard to get. Don't, let boys try to talk you